So I've said before that this is not a cooking channel, but here we are again reviewing another product to cook with. We're looking at the new George Foreman grill. I actually like the idea of reviewing this because when I was younger, I had the original George Foreman, and I want to see how this new one right there stacks up to that one. This is Jeff with Jeff Reviews for You. My channel is dedicated to reviewing mostly as seen on TV items. I look at some consumer gadgets, other household items. Once in a while, I do a little bit of a DIY just because I like to. If that interests you, I would love it if you would subscribe to my channel and click the bell below. That way you're notified every time I release a video just like this one. One more thing, don't forget to check down the description for my social media, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. I would love it if you would follow me there too. Now, let's get cooking. Let's take some time to get to know this machine a little bit. First things first, on the side here, this is where your drip tray is. You're going to want to remove this tape because you're going to need to take this out to thoroughly wash, but that's on there first. So if we open up our George Foreman, we see our sweet grill base and then a similar top there, right? So on the top and the bottom, there is a way to release the base and the top, and there's this button right here on the side. So if you just push the button, it immediately lifted this piece up, and now you can take it off, okay? So that's important to note because there's also a corresponding button on the top part where you click it and you release that. Now you need to take both of them off to go and wash because the directions say make sure you wash these parts before using. All right, so then there's these little tabs, and you cannot mess it up. So you can't accidentally put this one on the bottom because the tabs don't line up. So you put the little tabs here for the top, stick it in, click it there. Same thing for the bottom. These little tabs goes here, clicks down. Now you notice that this grate completely hides the heating element underneath, right? So you should not have a whole lot of splatter on there. So I'm looking forward to trying to cook with this. Oh, I should show you this. This does have a hinged back, so I can cook thicker things. That's pretty sweet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go wash these things up thoroughly with warm water and dish soap, and then I'm going to dry them thoroughly, and then we're going to try cooking. I'm going to start out by cooking a panini. I've got some cheese, I've got some turkey, I've got some bread, but first we have to cut off this end of our plug. I've already washed and prepped the pans here inside the surfaces, so I'm going to plug this in. We're going to fire this right up. So I'm going to hit the on button. My temperature, I'm actually going to do about 325, and that's just because I'm just toasting and let's hit start. So I want to preheat it. But first, I'm going to get a board to slide underneath here. They do say that it can get warm, so as to prevent any damage here, I'm just going to slide a cutting board underneath. So this bamboo cutting board fits perfectly. Now I'm just waiting for this to preheat up to 325 degrees, and then I'm going to make my sandwich on here and hopefully have a great panini. We know that our unit is preheating because of this red bar that goes across. It sort of like pulsates every few seconds red, and so what we are looking for is this bar to turn green. That's when we know we've reached our temperature. We've just hit green, which means we're ready to go. I will say during the time when it was preheating, I can smell the oils that were burning off from the factory, so just know that's something you may experience as well. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to open up my grill, slap down my panini, and cook it. So this just beeped, and to me, even though this is starting to toast, I'm going to leave it in there for another minute or so because I like the bread to get a little darker. So our last minute of toasting has been done. I think that's good enough. Even though it doesn't look any different, it is a little crispier. So let's take this off. Well, first I want you to see the lines. Can you see the panini lines? That's pretty cool. The cheese is definitely melted. What we're going to do is we're going to cut into this and see how delicious it is. You see the oozy cheese? It is really tasty and tastes like, to be honest with you, a grilled cheese and turkey sandwich. So you can just come over here and wipe right up the grill. Be careful not to do what I did there and push them down into the heating element. but it cleans up pretty easily. And then of course, when this cools down, I can pop these off and clean that underneath. So since cooking this first panini, I've actually cooked 3 or 4 more, and I'm just getting better and better at this as I go along. I really like how that hinges there. So if I have a thick sandwich on this side and a thin sandwich, it sort of like can center itself and get some grill marks on both. That's pretty cool. But now I'm going to put this thing to the test, and we're going to cook some bacon. I have some high hopes, so this thing better measure up. I'm at 325 degrees right now, and I need to go up to 375. So I'm going to click my temperature, up, up, up. Oops, hit start. And now, of course, you see me back here to the red line. I'm going to wait till that goes green and then throw some bacon on here. Let's put on our bacon. What I'm going to do is I'm going to close this, and it tells me my time can be up to 21 minutes. So I'm going to put it up that high and just keep an eye on it as it cooks. And this is why my wife tells me to cook outside. So I bought this because it had the anti-smoke feature where you were not supposed to have as much smoke as normal cooking. I know it wasn't going to get rid of it all, but this is coming out of the back of my machine, and this is pretty significant. We're just about 14 minutes in, and to be honest with you, this level of cook right here is where I like it. Now, some people might like it further than this, so I am going to let it go the full 21 minutes just to see if it gets extra crispy, but it's important to check on things because for me, I would take this off and eat it. We've reached the 21-minute mark, and I did pull off one piece of bacon at the 14-minute mark, so I wanted you to see the difference, okay? So these are the ones that just came off. A little greasy, so make sure that gets off and definitely warm. So you can see the difference between the level of cook. Now, this is the kind of bacon I like here. That was about 14 minutes. Now, this is thick-cut bacon, but then again, this is a little more crispy. So just depending on what you would like, we can dab some of that grease off so you can see it better. We can take a look at our grease tray. See all that grease that's in there? That's all from our bacon. That's pretty cool. I'm a firm believer of striking when the iron's hot, so to speak. And so what I have here is I have just a damp paper towel. And of course I'm wearing an oven mitt, a silicone oven mitt. And so I'm just going to clean this up a little bit just so I can get most of the grease off. That way when I go to wash it, it's not really a mess. But it cleans up pretty easily. That bacon was delicious. But to be honest with you, bacon is always good. Anyway, the way I cooked it, I got 4 slices across, but if I turn it the other way, I could get 5. The question we have to ask, is it really worth the 20-minute or 15-minute, depending on how long you cook your bacon, to get 4 or 5 pieces of bacon? Is there an easier way? Anyway, I would love to hear your thoughts on the bacon cooking. Let me know down in the comment section below, and I'm going to get back to cooking. We are now going to cook some salmon. My grill is preheated to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. I've got about, let's see, maybe a pound of salmon right here. It's a pretty big fillet. I'm going to put it in the middle. I'm going to set my time for probably 10 minutes, but I will check on it in between. I did learn if you push this button down and just hold, it counts by the minute. So let's check in on it in a little while. This has been cooking for just over 7 minutes. I'm lifting up. Oh, it's looking like it's browning nicely. That might be a little overdone. I'm actually going to leave it in just a little longer because I want to see what it looks like at the end of 10 minutes because this was a 1-pound piece of salmon. I like that it did not stick to the top there. I'm looking forward to seeing if the skin sticks to the bottom. We've come to the end of our cooking, and even though I let it in there just about 10 minutes, you never cook according to time. You cook according to temperature. Internal temperature should be about 145. Look at that. It did not stick. Pull up my probe there. Doesn't that look tasty? So I probably should have seasoned the salmon prior to cooking it. Now I tried it. I thought it tasted fine, but I shared it with some other people and they thought, man, this is bland. Where's the seasoning? I know. Next time I'll season it. I also left it in for the full 10 minutes. And it got a little crispy at the end, and I don't really mind it that way. Some like it less done, some like it more done. What I say is you always cook it to the recommended temperature for whatever food you're cooking. That way you stay safe. All right, so what did I think about this? Well, first things first, those slats, I was really worried that the grease was going to touch the heating elements, but in all the things that I've cooked, never once did it touch that, and that's pretty cool. I like the way they designed it. The original George Foreman had that little grease tray that the grease dripped off, and you carefully dump it into whatever jar or whatever you used. This one had its own pan, and I thought that was pretty sweet. Also, cleanup is a breeze. I washed this thing by hand over a dozen times after cooking, and it cleaned up very easily every single time. I also dropped it in the dishwasher a few times, and yes, it cleaned up there too. I don't typically wash my cookware in a dishwasher, and this one definitely got water spots. That could be the soap, that could be the water, I don't know, but I don't really care for that because I like to wash and then dry real fast. That's just an observation I have. Now, that being said, it cleaned, and that's really the end goal. If this is something that interests you, I will leave a link down in the description. This is Jeff with Jeff Reviews for You. As always, thanks for stopping by, and I hope you have a great day. I will say this is a little disappointing. It doesn't fit on my cabinet shelves. Now, under the sink cabinet, sure, but not these ones that get hung on the wall. It's just too tall to be standing up. Therefore, it's not really space saving. I really do appreciate that you stayed around for my entire review of the George Foreman smokeless grill. And I wanted to say two more things. One, that smokeless thing, yeah, that's not true. It definitely produced smoke. I know it's only like 80 or 85% less smoke, but it was still there. And so for me, I'll probably just cook with it outside on a covered porch. Therefore, the smoke doesn't really impact the house. Two is the price. I paid about $115 for this, and I bought it on Amazon. But I was walking through Walmart not that long ago, and I think I saw the exact same thing for like $70. I was looking around, this looks almost the same, if not the exact same. So make sure if you're going to buy this that you shop around. You know what? Not that long ago, I actually reviewed another cooking device, and it's the Power XL Microwave Air Fryer Plus. I think I got that right. What I'm going to do is I'm going to link that video right up here, and I would love it if you would click on this link. And by the magic of the internet, when you click right here, I'm going to join you at that review. So go ahead, click it. It's safe, I promise.